I'm not for everyone, and I don't care. And to be honest, neither should you. I have really had to sit with this message today that I don't live to please. I don't live to exist in by your standards. I don't want to try to be someone that you think I am. And I feel this is a huge part of me moving in this direction, coming back on this platform and sharing in such a raw and authentic way is to really let go of people's judgments, opinions, and projections of me and allow myself to take reign, take back control over my own narrative. And even doing so, I know that still I may not necessarily be able to get other people to see me the way that I see myself. And that's okay. The point here is releasing care, releasing these ways of being, releasing putting other people on a pedestal is what's going to enable me to really maintain alignment with my true north and the direction that I see for myself. And it feels good to not give a fuck. For so many years, I allowed people's opinions to get in the way of my own perception of self. And that is fucked all the way up. But I also know that it's in our human nature. We listen to our peers, our family, our friends, our co workers, but it's not often in our benefit unless these individuals hold something that you desire for yourself, unless these individuals reflect success in the ways that you deem success for yourself. It is very rarely that they will have anything to say that is truly of benefit to you. Why do I say this? Because you are one of one, and your journey is never going to look like the next person's. What you desire for yourself is going to be so unique to you that people are often not going to be able to help you in the sense that, in the way that you would like them to, unless they are of a higher caliber in a way that measures to a success that you would like to attain. I hope you're following. I hope I'm making sense. I've been sitting with showing up online and my reasons for doing so, and also the contrast of emotions that arise when you are faced with people who judge you, who don't even know you. And that's kind of really the reason why I'm here in the first place, why I'm choosing to show up online and in person in the ways that feel closely aligned to my values. Because at the end of the day, if I can't live in a way that aligns with my values, then what's the point? And I feel that I've spoken about this often, but it's still something that admittedly so, is a work in progress. When it comes to the core of it, the heart of the matter, I truly don't care what people think. But of course, there are times when things do get to me. But I feel like my number one priority at the moment is really letting that shit go, because all it does is hold you back from being the version of yourself that you see yourself to be. And it's not up to anybody else to live out the life that you deserve. It's not up to anybody else to attain the things that you desire. And with that in mind, why does it matter to impress people who don't even matter to you? Do you know what I mean? And so I say this because I was watching a video earlier that really inspired me and sparked a remembrance of why I show up in the ways that I do, why I go down the pathways that I choose, because it's my way or the highway. I have lived and I've learned, and I'm realizing more and more the older I get, I don't need to be listening to people that I don't want to be like. If you don't have a life that I seek to attain, then I'm sorry to break it to you, hun, but your advice is probably not that valuable to me. And no hard feelings. It's just the law, right? Why am I going to take advice from someone I'm not trying to be like? If you are not the version of success that I see for myself, then I need to remember, it's my duty to remember I shouldn't be taking advice from you. There have been so many times where I've been perceived, misperceived, misjudged, and it used to really bother me. And I finally got to a point where I realized people actually just don't care. They don't care enough about you to care about what you care about. So why should you care that they don't care? That gives you a literal get out of jail free card to not care, and in the most loving way possible. Caring is literally you getting yourself in your own way. And I don't mean don't have a heart and a soul. What I'm saying is releasing ideas that people project on you, releasing what you think other people think, releasing what other people think point blank, releasing everybody else's judgments, because it's not other people's judgments that are going to get you to where you need to be. I've also been thinking more about how I choose to show up in relation to my values. And I've been focusing on two top values over the last 5 years, um, love and authenticity, and what those mean to me, and how I embody and embrace these values whilst living in integrity to those values. And it's been a journey full of ups and downs, far from perfect. What I will say is it's really shown me a lot about myself. It's been a real eye opener for me, for better or for worse. But, for what it's worth, truly just for the better. This has been part of the journey of me learning how to have better boundaries, have a stronger sense of self, and to really just stand in my truth unapologetically. And it's been a journey of deep processing, of deep revelation, and getting down to the nitty gritty, getting down to the ugly, and really revealing to me where I carry shame, doubt, fear, and all of that dark stuff. I mean, shining a light on it has really allowed me to let go of how people view me. And I think a part of me showing up in this way is confirmation of that. It's an ode to I'm going to keep moving in the direction that I feel called to, irrespective of what anybody thinks, irrespective of how I'm perceived. And I think the best way to gain control of how people perceive me is by controlling the narrative. And the only way I'm going to control the narrative is by showing up and allowing myself to be seen. People will always have something to say. People will always have something to say. If you see me, like, I keep touching my laptop screen because I like the light that comes from it. It adds another dimension, which I think is a vibe in this low light setting. I also really need to pee, so be right back. I'm not for everyone, and I don't care. And to be honest, neither should you. Yeah, what about it? Let's be honest with ourselves for a second. Caring what people think, listening to the judgment and the opinions of others rarely gets us to where we want to be. And it's a hard truth to swallow. I've been sitting with how so often I've been misperceived, misjudged, and how it used to really get to me because I felt like I had something to prove. I'm not that version that you see me as, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. All these experiences taught me was that people will forever project who they want you to be until you show them otherwise. And even when people are close to seeing you as you would like them to, it is not guaranteed that they're going to see you as the versions of yourself that you want them to see you as. And you have to live with that. Because if you don't, then, honey, woe is you. You won't be able to successfully live the life that you deserve in peace without letting go of the projections that are placed upon you. I really had to learn the hard way, and I think most of us probably do. So I'm going to share a little bit of my 2 cents as to why I'm even here discussing this and what brought me to this place today. I was watching something earlier and I read a quote that said, "If you judge me for living according to my values I have chosen, I respect that. I don't hope and expect people to like or perceive me in the way that I would love people to." Following on, the reason why criticism and hate is so hard to accept is because we have these unrealistic expectations of the world, others, and ourselves that nobody can live up to. And I just want to say, shout out to yhlhw for saying this. I watched a video of her today and it really inspired me, and further affirmed why I need to continue moving in the direction that I set out for myself, because at the end of the day, it is only myself that's going to get me where I want to be. And no matter how many people around me offer me advice, their opinion, their judgment, I shouldn't be taking it unless it's coming from somebody that I deem as successful and who live a life that I seek to live for myself. Because if you do not classify as any of the above, then no hard feelings, but why am I listening to you? And it's just so easy to overlook and allow, because we have been conditioned to listen to our peers, our family, our friends, our colleagues, and so on. But we have to remember, when we're being given advice and opinions, who are these people in relation to the topic at hand and where we want to be? Are they reflective of people who we need to listen to, or is it just more noise that's going to tear us away from our track? Because at the end of the day, no one is you. You are one of one. There's only going to be so much somebody else can share that's going to help you move forward. But if I'm being really honest, I do care a little bit. I haven't quite got to the point where I've released all my fucks. I feel that where my values are love and authenticity, they're both quite, I would say, vulnerably interlinked. I view love as many things. I view love as an action, as a way of being, as a form of existing. I view love as a force of creation that is always available to us. And I'm not going to get too much into it. On the other side, I view authenticity as this raw essence of being able to connect to our identified values, being able to live in that truth no matter what anybody else thinks, being able to release ways of being that no longer really align with who we truly are, who we seek to be, and being confident in embracing that version of ourselves. And so those two things really coincide with one another. I feel that love and authenticity bridge a relationship that is quite harmonious once fully understood within the individual. And it's been quite a tender process because I'm a very sensitive person. I'm very sensitive to emotional shifts within myself and the people around me. And that's often led me to needing to take a lot of time to myself to maintain a sense of groundedness and equilibrium and just overall sense of well-being. Back to the fact that I'm not for everyone. Through this journey of deepening into the connection I have with my values, I have experienced many people along the way who have more often than not misjudged me, misperceived me, and have projected versions of myself that do not align with me whatsoever. And a lot of the time, it bothered me because I felt like I would have something to prove. It would just irritate me that people would see me in a way that was so far from the truth. But then I later realized how these projections have nothing to do with me. It's literally a reflection of how these people connect and view with themselves. And that was a relief. But it also made things hard because it meant that I had to become more stern with my boundaries, more more discerning of the people I wanted to keep around me. And at first, it can be quite lonely, especially when you feel like you are in a space of time that desires to be around more people, desires for human connection outside of yourself. I mean, it's a basic human need. And so, as you can imagine, it was very uncomfortable. Gosh, I'm so glad we're in this flow right now because if I'm going to be completely honest with you, in honor of honoring my value of authenticity and love meaning being in acceptance of who I am right now and how I got here in this moment. It took me more than a few tries to start this video, and every single time I felt like this just doesn't feel right. What I'm saying isn't fully resonating with me, and so I need to stop and start again. And each time I would stop, take a moment, take a deep breath, realign, and say, look, you are human. What is meant to come through will come through. Just trust in that. You have the knowledge, you have the wisdom that you want to share, and it's your lived experience. So if there's anything you need to trust in, it's that, and just speak from that place. And so here we are back again, raw and unfiltered, realigning to my integrity, to my authentic truth, and it feels a lot easier to explain. I hope you are following. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, as much as we may want people, especially our loved ones, to view us in a certain light, we have absolutely no control over that. And the only control that we do have is how we choose to show up day in, day out, how we choose to respond and not react wherever possible. And it's really given me the motivation to hone in on these skills, to really exercise these muscles that I've been working with over the last 5 years, and to really amplify the message that I would like to share by living out these values. So, yeah, I'm essentially just here to say I don't give a fuck about how you choose to view me. Because if I did, I wouldn't be here sharing as I am. If I did, I wouldn't continuously keep trying, not even trying, I wouldn't continuously keep showing up after trial, after after challenge, after brick wall, after mountain. I wouldn't keep coming back with a stronger a vengeance. And in truth, I'm proud of who I am. I love who I am. And no one can take that away from me. Wow, saying those words right now, I'm not gonna lie, it had me feeling a little bit emotional. almost to tear point, but it's the truth. I wouldn't keep coming back stronger if I didn't believe in who I am, if I didn't believe in the vision, if I didn't believe in what was possible. If I truly allowed people to get in the way, like I've said, right? I've admitted that a lot of times it has hurt in the past because it's hard not to care what people think. It's hard not to care what the people you care about, especially when you care about these people, it's hard not to care because in an ideal world, everyone would be happy, lovey, and in positive relationships with one another. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. The reality is that's just not the case. And the quicker we can adhere to and accept the reality, the quicker we can embrace and embody a successful life in the way that you see fit, obviously. Yeah, I, whoa. I just sometimes can't even believe I've come this far. And when I think of the small version of myself, I'm like, yeah, girl, like, if it means anything to you at this point, you really just don't need to care because the amount of times I've hit rock bottom, the amount of times I've been the one to pull myself up out of the dirt and then thrive despite all odds, I have myself to thank, only myself. And it goes without saying, it's the same for everybody else. No matter what people share with you, everyone battles their own things. And if there is anything you should remember, is that you are always going to be with yourself. So you might as well like the person you're with. You might as well actually enjoy the person that you're with, aka your own company. You might as well actually live in a way that makes you feel good, that you're proud of. Because what's the point? Then one day will come where you're sat thinking about the life that you've lived and you realize, who was I even living for? Then you'll really only have yourself to blame. And since we only really have ourselves to blame, why not take responsibility now? Why wait when the time that we truly only have is now? And I feel like the faster we are able to grasp the essence of this, the more of an impact we are able to have on ourselves and the people around us. And I guess that's the beautiful paradox of life. Sitting here and thinking about this topic, I feel quite emotional and for a number of reasons. And I feel like this video is not going to be enough to truly touch on the depth of it all. And so I'm going to say now, I would love to come back to this, but it's giving me inspiration and motivation to go harder than ever before. And I think it's the push that I've needed, especially now at this seasonal change. At this point in time, we are entering autumn. Some people might say I'm getting a bit too optimistic about the fact we're moving into autumn, but I've seen the leaves outside. Okay, they are falling. So by literal description, we are in autumn, okay? And don't come for me. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay. Yeah. The other thing is, I had a call the other night, a really unexpected call that shifted something in me. And I was filled with so much gratitude. I was also filled with so much. At first, I was a bit taken aback because I felt a little bit embarrassed. And not embarrassed in the sense of I'm embarrassed of who I am and I don't want people to see that, but more so the fact that I've been sharing myself over here in this way without expectations that when somebody has actually seen these videos and has told me that they've seen these videos, in fact, they have called me to tell me that they've seen the video because I've had such an impact. It's just kind of like, well, yeah, duh. That's partly the reason why you're here, but at the same time, when it actually happens in real time, you're like, whoa, that was unexpected. Like, I didn't really think anybody was watching my videos, even though I know people are watching my videos because I can see that I have views. And, wait, can I just say, I've been seeing that my subscriber count has been steadily increasing since coming back. And I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you who have chosen to be here and are continuing to follow me on this journey as we unfold together. And the fact you even want to watch and you stay to watch my videos really means something. And I'm truly grateful that you have chosen to spend some of your valuable time with me, listening to me, listening to me yap. It just hits differently when you don't even try to tell people about the things that you're doing and then people just show up and be and confirm and affirm to you like what you're doing is actually making a difference in one way, shape, or form. And that is really something special. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because essentially me practicing non-attachment to the outcome but sticking to what is true to me and taking one step at a time to move in that direction despite what anybody else thinks is what's proving to be the right thing to do. It was an affirming conversation that highlighted to me that I am clear on my vision, I am clear on my values because this person was able to receive me in a way I have only hoped to be received. And for that, I am so grateful. All of these things I say right now is me kind of coming to terms with where my focus is going to be over the next 6 months and how I'm gearing up the motivation and the discipline to stick to it. And at the forefront, it's remembering that I'm not for everyone and I don't want to be for everyone. And that's okay. And the more I repeat that to myself, the more I feel free to be exactly who I am without trying to change that, without trying to live up to anybody's false proclaimed expectations, falsely proclaimed expectations. Damn, I think I'm gonna have more edits in this video than I would like to admit because I feel like I've been rambling and then I also feel like I just don't want to have so much dead space. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, I've been gearing up for my winter arc. It's happening. It is happening. I'm ready for another level up like no other. And just remembering that I don't need to be for everyone is what's really gearing me up because it's like, okay, cool, bet. I need to be for everybody, bet. Like, let's fucking go. We're breaking glass ceilings, remember? Who the fuck cares? Because I know they sure as hell don't, so why should I? And that's the tea for today. Love ya. I also just remembered there was something else I wanted to add to this video. The reason why I even felt like filming this video was because I was thinking about how high key, I love being underestimated. I love being underestimated because when people underestimate me and misperceive me and misjudge me, that's on them. But you see me, yeah, we'll come around. Too many times, too many times, I've had the eyes to see when somebody is underestimating, is low key hating. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, you stay there. You stay hating. Because whilst you are hating, I will be over here thriving, growing, learning, expanding, evolving, shapeshifting, alchemizing into so many versions of myself that you won't even be able to keep up. Now look who's laughing now. Hee hee ha ha. Okay, that's all. Bye.